What is going on, guys? I hope you are having a fantastic day. I want to welcome you back to another episode of Can We Fix Your Uneven Abs? Make sure you stick around to the end, guys, because that is what we're going to tackle in today's video. It's a very important question and it's become a bit of an epidemic. People with uneven abs. It's going around, guys, and I get so many questions about it. So if you want to find out exactly what you can do about it, or if there's anything that you can actually do about it, make sure you stick around to the end. Now, with that out the way, what I want to do is preface this by getting you to understand that, every single person is different. You're different, I'm different. This guy outside who's freaking mowing his lawns is different and pissing me off, but it's all right. We're all different. Anyway, you get my point. We're all different. It's very important to understand that no matter what, you're never gonna look like some other guy, some other dude, okay? And that is just clear cut. Need you to understand that before we dive into anything else. With that out of the way, you need to understand that the abs is a very tricky situation. And it's tricky in the sense that some people are gonna have a 2-pack, some 3, some 4, some 5, some 6, and so on and so forth. And that is why it is not as clear cut as yes and no. It's not yes, you can get uneven abs if you don't have them, or no, you can't, because it is all going to depend on what you're actually working with. So once you've identified exactly what you're working with, if you have a 4-pack, 5-pack, 6-pack, then you can start to actually do things to fix the unevenness in terms of, the surrounding muscles of the obliques, the serratus, and all that kind of stuff, which is what we're gonna get into. So firstly, identifying that, accepting it, and being okay with it. Being okay with the fact that if you have a 5-pack, you just have a 5-pack, okay? There's nothing you can do to add an extra pack in there. You can't decrease a pack, add a pack. It's gonna be a 5-pack, and you're just gonna have to work with what you've got. So really the answer to the video is, it's complicated. You can't really get perfectly even abs if you don't firstly have them, unfortunately, but you can do things to make your midsection appear more symmetrical and aesthetic in general. And what I'm referring to is actually correcting the things around your abdomen, and that is going to be in the form of the serratus, which is these 3 looking gill things right here, the obliques, which are these, again, gill looking things right here, and the, everything else going on there. Excuse the nakedness, but anyway. So those are the things that you can more directly control when you're trying to actually fix your uneven abs. And that's what you should control. So the way to go about fixing any form of imbalance, and what I have noticed, because back in the day, I did have a little bit of a wonky kind of look to my abs. What I did was actually identify that they were a bit wonky. And the reason is because I had an overactive side of my body, okay? My right side was usually doing a lot of the rotations, a lot of the leaning over, a lot of the crunching. And as such, my right oblique is more strong than my left. So what I did was I went to work on actually improving the strength of my left side, or my weak side, oblique. And that's what you need to go about. So firstly, you need to identify, you need to take a couple photos, okay? So stand up, just go wherever, it doesn't really matter. Take a couple pics, because the first step to correcting the imbalances is to identify where those imbalances lie. Once you've done that, guys, you can easily go about correcting them. All you need to do is follow these pretty simple steps. Firstly, when you are working out, stop doing things that require both sides of your body. So what I mean by that, guys, is when you are doing bicep curls, use dumbbells, don't use barbells. And when you're doing a cable curl, maybe do one side rather than both sides at one time, okay? It's very important to do. Now also, when you're training your abs, do things that are gonna require one side of the body. So that could be a side crunch on one side where you lay on the floor and you go and crunch only one side of your oblique. You could do a side plank, you could do all that kind of stuff. From there, what you want to do is then implement more sets and more reps and just more volume in general on the weaker side of your body. So say your left side is weaker, what you're going to do, guys, is say 3 to 5 extra sets whenever you hit that side of your abs. Okay, so say you do 5 sets on the strong side, you're going to do about 8 to 10 sets on the weakest side, and that's very, very important to actually get that overload. And as such, usually, the right side is gonna stay at the same size if you're not using an adequate workload, and then the weaker side is going to come up and be more symmetrical with that actual strong side. So it's very important to get that down pat. Now, the next thing you could do, guys, is not really referring to the abs in general. but it's the everything else in your body. So if you just have a wonky body in general, no matter what you do, your abs are going to kind of look unsymmetrical. So what you want to do is start to then understand that you do want to bring up these imbalances here. You do want to correct them. So if one shoulder is a lot wider than the other, you're going to look a bit wonky all over no matter what. So you're going to want to head to the other areas of your body and start applying the same principles. So to conclude, guys, the answer to the question is it's not that simple. There's no yes, there's no no. It's all going to come down to what you have. But you need to firstly understand that it doesn't really matter what you've got, guys. It's what you do with it. So you take what you've been given and you build it into something that you like. And you need to accept your imbalances, accept your flaws and all that kind of stuff. Focus on your strengths, focus on your weaknesses, and just, be happy with what you got and work with what you've got. It's so fucking important, guys, to not focus on what everyone else has, because let's just say you have a very strong arms, you have massive arms, but you're not appreciating the fact that you've been given good genetics for your arms, and instead you're focusing on some other guy who has good, ab genetics or leg genetics or calf genetics or chest genetics, all that kind of stuff. You're focusing on the next guy, and that's feeding into the mentality of focusing on what you lack instead of focusing on what you're thankful for. Be thankful for your strength and then work on your weaknesses, but don't let them consume you and all that kind of stuff. So with that out of the way, guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. I hope it clear-cutted a lot of the questions that you might have had. If it didn't, comment down below, let me know, and if you have any questions at all, drop them down there as well. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new here, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later!